The search is on as the Philadelphia Eagles look to hire their next head coach. So many names, so many possibilities. We're going to talk about a couple of them, including the ones that they have requested for interviews and have already interviewed. That is all coming up next.
Coach, will he be?
I don't know. He'll be a successful one, I would believe, if somebody gives him an opportunity. I think he has a great poise, a great feel for players, a great understanding of this game, a great football mind. But, sometimes it's tough to get the opportunity you deserve.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Eagles News Now podcast. I'm professional wrestler Chris Wilde, live once again from bar 4133. And the Eagles are in search of their new head coach. It has begun. The chaos has started. But before we start talking about that, I want to really quickly thank our former head coach, Doug Peterson, for giving us a memory that will last a lifetime and being part of that amazing team in 2017 that got us our first ever Super Bowl. Thank you, Coach Peterson. We will definitely never forget that or forget you. Now moving forward, the Eagles are looking for a head coach, and there's tons of names out there of guys that they want to be, that they're looking into. They already interviewed one guy and have another one scheduled to come up. So let's jump right into it and talk about that. The Eagles, according to sources, have already interviewed Carolina Panthers offensive coordinator Joe Brady. He's 31 years old. And one of the things that the Eagles really like about Joe Brady, and that the league likes about Joe Brady, is that he had an offense that was very productive, even without their top weapon, Christian McCaffrey. I've heard his name as a coaching candidate throughout the season. It will be interesting to see how he fits here. Again, he's 31 years old. People are looking at him as like a Sean McVay-like coach. I think the Eagles might be looking at him as somebody that they will be easy to control in-house. Again, he was already interviewed. We'll see what happens with that. Not my top favorite, obviously. The Eagles have another former coordinator coming in for an interview. That's 49ers former defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. Now, he has been a hot name for a couple years as a head coach. He has actually finished his second interview with the New York Jets. They really want to bring him in as a head coach, and I think I would love to have this guy here in Philadelphia. If he is hired, he is expected to bring some of the 49ers offensive staff over, so the offense would have a Kyle Shanahan type feel to it, which I'm not exactly 100% hot on, but I think this guy, he has head coach written all over him, a no-nonsense type dude that if you've watched any 49ers game besides that Super Bowl, he definitely has a lot of emotion on the sideline, is definitely dialed into some of his players. I would actually like to see him here. I don't know if it's going to happen because, Jeffrey Lurie said all through that press conference that he really liked offense. Now, does that mean he needs an offensive head coach? No. But do I think that might be the way that they're going to go? Yeah, and that brings up this next guy that they've requested to interview, and that is Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. He is best known for Ryan Tannehill's miraculous turnaround as he went from a bottom-of-the-barrel, almost bust first-round quarterback into almost an MVP-type player this year. Now, obviously, if you watched the playoffs last week, you saw a Titans team that struggled to score 10 points against the Baltimore Ravens. And you can also say that Tannehill, his transformation has something to do with absolute beast of a running back named Derrick Henry. Either way, Arthur Smith is another hot name going around. I definitely expect him to become a head coach somewhere. I don't know if I exactly want it to be here, which brings up another name of a guy who I just don't want any part of that the Eagles are set to interview, and that is Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive coordinator Todd Bowles. If that name sounds familiar, it should, because he was actually with the Eagles as their defensive backs coach and then served as the interim defensive coordinator after the Eagles fired Juan Castillo, their former offensive line coach turned defensive coordinator. They fired him, and Todd Bowles came in as DC. Now, look, I'm not looking at that. I think the guy is a great defensive coordinator this year in Tampa Bay. They have really awesome run stoppers. They're number one in all categories as far as stopping the rush is concerned. I love the attitude of that defense. However, I remember Todd Bowles as being the head coach of the Jets, and I know the Jets at that time had garbage at quarterback, but the guy just never looked confident in anything. He was 24-40 with the Jets. I don't want to see this guy here. I don't want to retread. I don't want. It has Jim Schwartz written all over it. Like, Jim Schwartz is a decent defensive coordinator, I guess I could say, as it kills me to say that. But he's a terrible head coach. And I have the same feeling about Todd Bowles. Now, other names that the Eagles are set to interview or be interested in, one of the most interesting names that came out as soon as Doug Peterson was fired almost was that they reached out to Oklahoma Sooners head coach Lincoln Riley. Obviously, he's familiar with quarterback Jalen Hurts. Has that air raid style offense that Jeffrey Lurie would love here. Now, look, I heard today that Lincoln Riley is okay at being at Oklahoma and doesn't really want to change at the moment. Who knows? We all remember that Chip Kelly said the same thing, and he ended up here. Mike Kafka, who I wanted as offensive coordinator here last year from the Kansas City Chiefs, he is the quarterback's coach. They want to interview him. Pat Mahomes absolutely loves this guy. Also, Brian Dable is a hot name for all teams as a head coach. He is the offensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills. Jared Mayo, which is a weird name for me. The guys started coaching in 2019. Of course, he was an inside linebacker with the New England Patriots. Linebackers coach this year. I could see maybe putting him as defensive coordinator, even though I don't know much about him. But to jump to head coach this soon would obviously be a head scratcher. With that being said, you can put nothing past Jeffrey Lurie at this point, and who may be the head coaching favorite, at least among players and outside analysts, is none other than assistant head coach Deuce Staley. He's been here forever. After Doug got fired, numerous players put out tweets in support of Deuce Staley getting the job. If you remember, Doug got COVID early in the offseason, and Deuce stepped in and had to run meetings and be the head coach for a couple weeks during that time. And it's said that all the players love him and that he commands respect out of his teams. Now, I don't know if Jeffrey Lurie wants another guy that was part of that Doug Peterson system. I don't know. We'll see. Would I be completely upset if Deuce Staley was the head coach? No, but it just depends on what you put around him. If you put a good offensive staff around him and a good defensive staff around him, I think he could absolutely be a good head coach. Again, I know very little as far as that concerned. As none of us know much about how Deuce would be as a head coach unless we're the actual players. And from what it looks like, they would love this guy to be head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know. So look, I'm going to dig deeper into these names. I'm going to talk more about the guys that are set to be interviewed. It's just I couldn't do them all in one video. The video would be an hour or so long. And look, you guys wouldn't be able to make it through. I wouldn't be able to make it through even half of it. And hopefully, look, Jeffrey Lurie said that he has no problem making this a long search. I don't know if it can be that long. If you like what Robert Saleh comes in and says, do you let him go when you know the Jets are going to hire him? It's a very tough position, as the Eagles are behind the eight ball in this. So we'll see, guys. I'll most likely have another video talking about some of these other coaching candidates, as well as I'd love to dig deep on Mike Kafka and Brian Dable, as well as the possibility of Lincoln Riley coming. So that might be my next three. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what you've seen, you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscription button. Tons of content on this channel, stuff that you may not have seen coming, some stuff that may not have anything to do with the Philadelphia Eagles. We're always keeping it interesting here on Eagles News Now. Sixers stuff, I'm going to start getting into that as well as Philly stuff. The Eagles have made it definitely very interesting going into the 2021 offseason. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, go Birds. I'll see you later.
Banana.